Hi, my name is Ivey Rhodes. I'm the lead pastor at Arborway Community Church, and welcome to Jamaica Plain's Arborway. Jamaica Plain is a neighborhood in the city of Boston, and you're standing right in the middle of it. Behind me is the Stony Brook stop. That way is a skate park and a couple of other T stops, and the T is what we call our subway, if you're not familiar with Boston. My story is that a few years ago, almost a decade ago now, God had called me to plant a church, and I remember discussing it with my wife, and for about 6 months, we just tried to discern where that would be. We put a map on our refrigerator of the whole world and said, God, send us anywhere. And that first 6 months was just to figure out if God wanted us to plant a church, and He's definitely said yes. Following that, we spent years trying to figure it out. And over the years, we landed in on New England and eventually landed in on Boston. And that came because in 2015, I took a trip here. And I just fell in love with this city because it's a beautiful city, a ton of personality. But it wasn't just the city itself that was beautiful. When I spoke to the pastors, I saw that God was doing something beautiful in this city. Because I'd been to other cities and I'd visited them and talked to other pastors, but there seemed to be something different about Boston, about how there was kind of a brotherhood between pastors, and churches weren't in competition and they were there to serve and help each other. It felt more first century than I had seen before. I was asking, where should I plant? Where are there places that need churches? And I was given a few neighborhoods, and Jamaica Plain was one of them. As I started a prayer walk in Boston, I went from the Common to Jamaica Plain, and that's about a 5-mile walk if you're not familiar with the geography of Boston. And I was listening to worship music and I was praying. I was saying, God, show us where you want us to be. I remember walking into Jamaica Plain the first time, and there's this blue sign about 6 feet tall, and it says, "Welcome to Jamaica Plain." And it was like at that moment I was struck that God wanted our family here. And what I didn't know at that moment was not only did He want us in the vicinity of Jamaica Plain, but right across the street from that sign was actually the church building we would end up meeting in. That God wasn't just saying plant a church here in Jamaica Plain, but He was saying plant a church here. So we came out to Jamaica Plain and lived here starting in 2016 and have been here for about 7 years. And in 2017, we started Arborway Community Church. And during that time, we've seen God, we've gone through a lot of ups and downs, from COVID to different issues that have popped up in the church, because we're in a neighborhood and we're in a place in Boston where there haven't been churches, and people are just learning what it means to follow Christ. And those early years are difficult. And so we've seen a lot of growth. We've seen people come to follow Christ. We've seen people go from death to life and baptize people, and it's been amazing. But what we don't want to just be is a cul-de-sac for the gospel. We want to be a super highway for the gospel. And we want a church to be a gospel preaching church here for a century, and that other churches will be birthed out of Arborway all over Boston and really all over the world. Because people come here, they get trained, go to the greatest schools in the entire world, and then go all over the country. Our church is full of people from everywhere. So we're so glad to see what God is doing and to be a part of what He's doing. And what I want to encourage you to do is get involved where God is working. And God is working greatly in Boston. And you don't have to come and partner with us or work with us. You can work with another church, and we encourage you to do it because we love all the churches here that are preaching the gospel. And so if I could give you any encouragement today, is get involved in the mission of God in Boston.